like to foster 5 kids and adopt them and have
We have fostered 4 children. 3 of them will be adopted. The little guy we have not adopted. We have a current foster
okay,
child.
let's just quickly go from the top. So you have Noah.
Yeah, he was adopted locally as an infant,
Okay.
a private adoption.
Okay.
So very unique experience. Moderately expensive, pretty expensive, I would say.
Okay.
Not moderately, pretty expensive.
Then we have
Interesting journey. Even that, like where you go on a list and then people pick you from a book, right? You know, so like Noah was, when we were waiting to adopt Noah, we were moving. Marie and I were living in like the suite of a barn out in Rosedale, and somebody, I remember we come back from this event. It was like a Brian Dirksen little private business thing in Abbotsford. We basically got home, and late at night, some lady calls, a social worker calls and says, hey, there's some lady in labor right now from the New Westminster Hospital, and she picked you guys, the Christian dairy farmer couple, to be the birth parents. So she didn't even know our names or anything. She had just looked at the book one time. She didn't know how far along she was. She didn't know anything about, she didn't, her parents didn't know
crazy
that she had had a baby. So that was very unique experience. And I think that's just because Marie was pretty young still, relatively young at that time, I think 24. Just hard, right? Like your whole dream is to have a baby. And of course, all her friends and sisters, everybody's getting pregnant. Not her sisters, but at that time, yeah, but her friends. And then after that, we were like, there's like a lineup of people waiting to adopt babies in BC, right? Yeah. So we thought, we should adopt internationally. We thought, okay, there's less people that want to do that. It's a little more prohibitive because of the cost. So we started.
Did you guys talk about how many kids you wanted to adopt, or you just one at a time?
No, just one at a time, right? Okay. And it's pretty interesting holding your little guy. I think I said last week, like that's a stage that gets you in trouble, right? When you hold the babies.
I was going to bring him on today. We both
like babies.
I was going to bring him on today. I'll text
him. No, he's the cutie, right? And just children are they're innocent, they're sweet, they're precious. And the thing is, and I realize this as I get older, looking at the trajectory of my life and everybody around me that's done very well materially anyways, but even just in general that are healthy and have good relationships. I think like you're born on third base. I look at all the people that I know that are living on the street or people that I visit that struggle or go to other countries. It's like, it's just a matter of who your parents are. Like, you don't get to start raising your hand and saying, oh, I'm amazing. Like, no, you're literally just, you won the genetic lottery, right? So
not even that, circumstance, like third base, as in like still in the womb, like.
Well, yeah, your mom didn't do meth while you were
exactly
in the womb. So
things like that.
So we've experienced all of that. So so we had decided to adopt internationally, and I think Marie could correct me. It'd be a good episode. Well, sometime when she's on, because we are going to have more people on, and then she loves talking about it too. But yeah, I think we're going to go from the U.S. and then I can't remember what the reason was, but I think the wait from Japan was short, like very short, and it was not that common. It's not a Hague protected country. It was, I wouldn't want to say too much more about it, but it was pretty, anyways, that's where we decided to end up adopting, was from Japan. And I mean, our daughter, Hannah, who's now 8 years old as of today, we got a call and there was many couples in front of us. So there again, that one, they just go through the list. It's like you're number one, you're number two by the time, and I think we were 3 or 4, but Hannah only had one kidney, and then the other kidney is supposed to be with cis. And so I distinctly remember the day. I remember exactly where I was. Marie came running outside and said, hey, there's everybody, the people I had, I guess, had turned down the baby, her, because she only had one kidney. People are very particular. And this is why I struggle with these types of adoptions, to be honest. And I'm not saying I disagree with people doing them. I personally struggle with it. And it leads into the rest of our story. But yeah, we went to Japan, met her. We got there when she was 30 days old, and we arrived, like we hadn't slept. We flew overnight, and then it was about 8 o'clock at night when we got there, something like that. And we took a long cab ride to our hotel, or to our apartment that we rented for a month. And like, they literally dropped the baby off like 45 minutes later, like with a sheet of paper, and walked away. Like, it was just bizarre. And yeah, it felt very weird. And like the way the adoption was at that time, it was expensive. It was so much a day US, up to 30 days. At 30 days, they capped out. So it was just like, the 30 days is up. Here's your baby. And so, yeah, it was really cool. Hannah's, I don't know, Hannah. Hannah's an amazing young lady.
Yeah.
And yeah, her story's special. So we were just blessed to have her. And then that was in 2016, and we had did the 2-kid thing for a while. We moved again a few more times, and then we started fostering. And I had fostered as a single guy in my early 20s. I think maybe I said that on here. Yeah. So that was unique in of itself. And so I've always had the heart for that. And Marie ended up having that too, and just really feeling.
That's episode 1, by the way. If someone's
listening. Oh wow, way back. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and I could do a whole episode just on talking about that kind of stuff, because I believe as Christians that we do a lot of beacon off about a lot of stuff, but we don't care that well for the orphans and the widows. Like we just don't. Most of us just don't even want to know about the carnage because it's overwhelming, which is fair. It is overwhelming, but we should all be wearing some of that weight of kind of, and I think that fostering is a step past Save Families. Save Families is a very gentle way. Yeah. Fostering is going one more step where you're, getting involved with the ministry, children, families. And for us, we started fostering, and it's funny. This would summarize fostering the experience. We signed up for kids 5 and under. We had 2 little kids. We're like, hey, 5, they got to be younger kids. The very first girl to show up at our house was 16 or 17. They're like, oh, we got this. And wonderful young lady. Met her since. She's doing really well. So that was kind of just a unique experience to have a young girl, and she just didn't stay that long. Just it was respite or something like that. So that's another thing you can do when you sign up for fostering. You're not signing up for what we've signed up for, where you have and I'll get to that story, but you'll have babies and then they get yanked out of your house or whatever. You can sign up for just, hey, we take kids only when someone else needs a break, and we have people that do that for us.
Just for a weekend here or there.
Yeah, we went to Mexico for a week.
People took my parents were respite from me.
Okay, that's not surprising. Sorry. And actually, we're jesting, and I'm making fun of you. But people do need respite, and there's no shame in that. And I think it's a lot healthier to say, hey, I need help. I think we should create a culture where people can say, hey, I'm struggling.
Yes. 100%.
And not just with foster kids, with biological kids or whatever. Like, human beings are challenging people, and by the great, we're
learning to accept help is a good thing.
Oh, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's humbling. And it's humbling, and it's humbling. So we should all be able to be, and I struggle with it, so I can beak off all day long. Maybe I'll try intentionally ask for help in the next week with something that I'm struggling
I'm helping you at the auction, isn't this like?
No, that's... You're offering to do a hostile takeover of the Instagram feed tomorrow.
Okay, so after Hannah...
Yeah, so we started fostering, and that was in 2018. And then we had our oldest, the girl after Hannah come live with us, and she lived with us for a whole year, basically all of 2019, even a bit more. And then her parents had another baby in the meantime, and we transitioned Gracie back home fully in January of 2020. So kind of all of 2019.
Back into her parents' home?
Yeah, with her little sister. And then in May, so I should back up. So then we were down to 2 kids all of a sudden. And then in March, this is COVID 2020, the hospitals were shutting down. We went and picked up a little foster boy named Kingston who came to live with us. And that was in March. And then in May, about 60
How
days.
old was Kingston when you got him?
Brand new baby. Oh. Yeah. And I won't say any more than that. Other than he definitely had some challenges, some severe challenges. And so he came to live with us. And then in May, we got a call from the girl's mom, and she was having a rough time. And anyways, they both ended up coming to live with us, those 2 girls. And then they were in foster care with us for years and years. And then I should remember what days we adopted them, but at some point in the
Kingston was adopted right away too, or
it was all part of the same process. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, it was all just kind of tracking separate social workers. So there's a social worker for the parents. There's a social worker for the child. There's a social worker for the foster care.
Complicated.
It's complicated.
So if someone wants to get into fostering, what's the first step? Like where can
the very first step is to go to an info session. I'm pretty sure that they still have them. I mean, the first step would be to call someone that's fostered and just say, hey, can you give me a bit of a rundown? And I would say, this is what I always say, if you've thought of, because everybody always like, oh, I've thought about that, or I've felt, like, if you've thought about it, you should be pursuing it. You should at least look into it. And don't quench a spirit. Like, it's a beautiful thing. And like, I had a lot of wings to go, but I would say that Marie and I, and like Marie in particular, just because I'm looking at her, it's easier to look at your spouse and see how, but like her character is top notch. And like, she's always been a great lady, but she is 100 times the woman that I married. Like, she is an amazing lady, and she's her heart for caring for our kids, and she is a fighter for our kids, and it's not easy parenting kids with a lot of special needs. So yeah, I'm super proud of her. So yeah, we adopted those, our three youngest, and then kind of in 2022, let's say, or 23, I've kind of lost track. And then it was really interesting, and I'm losing track of my dates. Well, it would have been 23. In 2023, in May of 2023, because now we're 25, in May of 2023, we had 5 children, and they were all young. They were 8 and under. And when in 2020, we had 5 kids, 5 and under, and we had 3 kids under 2. And 2 of them are 8 months apart because they're not, so it's just a gong show. And then it was interesting because that was in May of 2020. And then within 4 months, I sold our farm that we were living on and moved Marie in. Anyways, just really happy about that. But then in 2023, we got a phone call, and Marie was not even at home. She was at a foster conference in Ontario with some friends, gone for 3 days or something. And the social worker called and said, hey, we have a temporary placement. It's voluntary. It's for 90 days or something. Would you be willing to, take this little guy? And Marie's called me, and I don't know if there was much discussion, or she just said, hey, the kid's coming when I get back.
Yeah.
So the little guy came. So he lives with us now. That's been over 2 years. And there again, that is pretty, kind of symbolizes what foster care can be. But the beautiful thing is, and this is where, and there again, I mean, I'm welcome to feedback or challenging, but like none of us are in control of any of our kids. It doesn't matter if they're biological or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm living proof of that. My parents put a lot of effort in and tried really hard, and I really disobeyed and really went sideways. And so, yeah, we all like to think that if we just do all the right things and we check all the boxes and we, teach our children to fear the Lord, that they're going to become amazing, upstanding. And maybe they will by the grace of God. But I think that in my experience, and Marie and I often say to each other when we talk about it, it's like, if Lord willing, our children end up doing relatively well in any way, whatever that looks like, it will be a miracle. It will definitely not be because of our parenting. And it's just ultimately, I look at children as in that moment, you teach them, you love them as best you can in that moment each day. That's what God gave you. You don't get ahead of yourself. Yeah. And I tend to do that because, you forward. I don't know if you ever do that with your kids where you're like, start thinking about their future. It's like, no, I don't need to do that. Like we don't know how long they'll be on this earth for. So
it's like when you talk about caring for people, like God does the fixing. We do the caring. We don't need to fix anybody, including our kids. We need to care for them, teach them, disciple them. We don't need to fix them.
Yeah. So anyways, the journey we're on now, and it's actually interesting you're asking because it's a pretty important week. So like by the time this gets released, we'll probably have some clarification on little guy's future.
Okay.
Lots of big stuff going on. So there again, you're so powerless, and that is very uncomfortable. And there again, I'm just going to speak specifically to Dutch people because I'm Dutch. It's like, I like controlling things. I like to think I don't. I like to think I'm easygoing, but I'm not.
Yes.
Most of the time I can either like with pure willpower or money or with a team or whatever, just,
push through.
I was going to say manipulate. That's really derogatory, but no, like, it's like if you have if you have capacity and you're well-spoken, you can get a lot of things in life. And it's like
God needs to crush
this,
you.
And he's crushed me in this journey. This is one of the main things. I mean, there's been like 3 or 4, but this has been one of the main things where it's, and I know I'll be crushed again because it's hard. It's like, and I don't have the answer. I think that if your reason for not doing something though is because it's hard, that's a load of BS. Like that's a weak response, right? Like if you think, hey, like that's not our calling.
Well,
right
especially
now,
not if you're a Christian. If you're a Christian, you're called to be like Christ, which is to lay down your life for others. It's just to give. It's to sacrifice. It's
having said that, and that just to sort of interrupt, but this is another thing I always say is that like nobody's a martyr for being a foster parent or an adoptive parent or like everybody has their cross to bear in their life, right?
That's right.
So
often
you know what I mean?
It's often it's not one that you don't pick. And it's very different for other people.
Yeah, so we don't need to compare. I don't, I'm just on the journey we're on. I mean, I think there are challenges for sure to what we're doing, and I know that in particular for Marie being home all day with that.
Some people just listen better and don't need super hard lessons. I think
most people need a lot of lessons. I feel like there's just a lot to be learned in the struggle, and there's very little to be learned in easy times. And it's fascinating how even as Christians and people are just trying to have an easy life. They're trying to have a comfortable life. Like, where would you, and I'm reading this other book, I'm rabbit trailing now, but like
Money, Possessions, and Eternity.
Yeah, this is by Randy Alcorn. For those of you that aren't watching, it's called Money Possession.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.